Cecil stepped up the pressure for the Queen to marry a European prince. There was no shortage of candidates.
King Philip.
King Philip of Spain, Catholic and widower of Elizabeth's sister Mary.
Charles IX.
He is 16.
Charles IX of France, Catholic and a mere sickly boy.
Charles of Austria.
The Archduke Charles, the most promising candidate, but still a Catholic.
Eric of Sweden.
No, my lord.
Elizabeth was playing hard to get, for reasons that were political as well as personal. She'd seen the problems created by her sister Mary's disastrous marriage to Philip of Spain, and she was determined to avoid them. But actually, that was easier said than done. For if she married a foreigner, how could England avoid the kind of disastrous foreign entanglements which had led to the loss of Calais? And if she married a Catholic, and almost all the suitors for her hand were Catholics, how would Protestant England cope with a Catholic king? And finally, and above all, how could she be happy if she married a man that she'd never seen? Sometimes she must have reflected it was safer to follow her own inclination and not marry at all. Elizabeth faced her second major challenge. She was a Protestant queen in a country that was still officially Catholic. Her sister Mary had stamped Catholicism on England with extraordinary violence, burning at the stake over 300 Protestant men, women and children. Elizabeth had finally got Parliament to agree to restore Protestantism in England. Mary's Catholic bishops had fought her all the way, and when they were ordered to swear an oath accepting the Queen as head of the new church, all but one of them refused. Her response was swift. On the 20th of May, 1560, Thomas Watson, Bishop of Lincoln, was sent to the Tower. In the following weeks, many more bishops were arrested as well. As well as the ex-bishops, the surviving Catholic members of Mary's council were also arrested. But Elizabeth, unlike her sister Mary, didn't try to force them to convert. It wasn't her business, she said, to make windows into men's souls. Because Elizabeth was subtler. She insisted only on outward conformity. They had to acknowledge her supremacy, and they were allowed to celebrate Mass only privately. The result deprived Catholicism of the publicity of martyrdom. Instead, it reduced it to something furtive. To be allowed, Elizabeth hoped, slowly to wither away. Whilst Catholicism was forced underground, England's new religion was given a bold public face. This is the rood screen. Rood means cross, and originally an image of Christ hanging on the cross stood in the centre of the screen, with the Virgin Mary on one side and St. John on the other. Under Elizabeth, these images were torn down because they were seen as being idolatrous, and they were replaced instead with this painted, gigantic version of the royal arms. Queen Elizabeth, the arms say, is God's direct representative here on earth. Church and state are one. And when the congregation knelt to pray, they worshipped not only God, but also the English nation as embodied in its Virgin Queen. But the Virgin Queen's relationship with Robert Dudley was by now a national scandal. Both court and public were appalled at his arrogance, offended by his brashness, and suspicious of his motives. And there was another thing. He was married. Dudley's wife, Amy Robsart, was rumoured to be very ill. Gossip claimed that Dudley was simply waiting for her to die so that he could marry the Queen. Cecil was close to despair and confided in the Spanish ambassador.
I met Secretary Cecil, who said that the Queen was going on so strangely that he was about to withdraw from her service. He perceived the most manifest ruin impending over the Queen through her intimacy with Lord Robert. He had made himself master of the business of state and of the person of the Queen, to the extreme injury of the realm, with the intention of marrying her. Last of all, he said there was a conspiracy to kill Lord Robert's wife.
It is late on the afternoon of the 8th of September, 1560, at Cumnor Place in Oxfordshire, the home of Lord Robert Dudley, the Queen's favourite, and Amy Robsart, his wife of 5 years' standing. The house has been unusually quiet all afternoon because the servants have been given the day off to attend a local fair. When they return, they find Lady Dudley's body at the foot of the staircase, dead and with her neck broken. Dudley's first reaction, fear for his reputation. He was right to fear. A major scandal erupts at court. Queen's favourite murder's wife to clear way to Queen's bed. Elizabeth fearful for her reputation. She couldn't allow the scandal to besmirch her. Reluctantly, she banishes Dudley from court. The inquest exonerated Dudley by returning a verdict of accidental death. But his enemies were confident that his reputation was beyond repair, and that he would never recover his all-too-intimate relationship with the Queen.